singing with us, Impact. You guys sound great. You can go ahead and have a seat.
What's up, middle school? Hey, I love this section right here because you guys are all wearing masks. Look at this. This is great. Chloe, your whole crew here, you guys are fantastic. Y'all are wearing masks, and y'all are all jumping and going crazy during the music. That's fantastic. So props to y'all. That's what I'm talking about. It's great. Thanks for all y'all being here, middle schoolers. Man, we haven't seen y'all since before Christmas. Was Santa good to you guys? Wah, wah, wah. Okay, I'm just kidding. Hey, but seriously, we hope y'all had a great Christmas and New Year's. So glad y'all are all here hanging with us this week. Shout out to everybody at home watching online or, on our YouTube channel. I know Karis is watching. I know Katie's watching. Y'all, it's actually a really special day because one of our really, really favorite people, a great fan of ours, somebody who tunes in every week, one of our guys by the name of Benjamin. Everybody say, what's up, Benjamin? All right, Benjamin is watching right now down in South Carolina, and today is Benjamin's 12th birthday. All right, so yeah, let's give it up for him. And I need y'all's help with something. Since we're in a vibe series here, I need to see if you guys can help me because I cannot sing. Trust me, Lord, it sounds like cats screaming. It's not good. Or those coyotes like we have out here in Kernersville. It doesn't sound good. I need y'all to help me. Can we sing Happy Birthday to Benjamin real quick? You guys ready? Can we try this? And if you're at home right now following and you're not Benjamin, sing too so Benjamin can hear you in South Carolina. It's awesome. He's watching all the way there. So y'all ready? All right, let's try this. Happy birthday to you. Shh. Happy birthday to you. Shh. Happy birthday, dear Benjamin. I like the cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Good job, yay! Thanks, y'all. Hey, I love the cha-cha-cha over here. That was great. That was fantastic. Benjamin, hope you have a great 12th birthday. We love you, man. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending your birthday with us. Y'all, tonight, though, we are in week 2 of our series known as Vibes. Last week, we talked about it. This year, we're talking about in 2021, how we don't let our emotions control us. Last week, if you tuned in, hanging out with your small group, we talked about what? You guys remember? We talked about fear, we talked about worry, and we talked about anxiety. Yeah, stress. We talked about all those things. And tonight, we're going one step further. And y'all, to start, I have a question for you guys. And here's the question. It goes just like this. What are some things that just drive you crazy? All right, you guys can shout them on through because I heard a lot of them. All right, so I want you guys to be as loud as you can, middle schoolers. Just wake up. Let's do this. If you're, again, watching at home, high schoolers, shout with your group. Shout out. All right, 1, 2, 3. James Harden. Okay, all right. I heard of James Harden. A Nets fan's very upset about that. Travis, what'd you say? Clemson, oh my goodness, Clemson fans might be like, yeah, Ohio State, I guess drives them crazy, but I get you, I'm with you, man. I'm sorry, Luke, I'm sorry. All right, I'm getting off a tangent. Yeah, what things drive us crazy? I heard family, like little brother, little sister. Anybody? Yeah, Grayson, yes, absolutely. Grayson nodding her head, yes. Maybe chores, clean up the kitchen, take out the trash, mowing the yard, which y'all need to do because your parents do so much for y'all. Right? What about like school? School drive anybody crazy? Some of y'all like tests, virtual learning, papers, all that kind of stuff. High schoolers, you guys are like, yeah, it's driving me insane, all this stuff right now. What else do we have? How about like loading? Does loading ever drive y'all crazy when you're trying to stream something and watch it? Or maybe when like Netflix takes your favorite show off. I mean, how are you gonna take The Office off of Netflix? Isn't that just terrible? It's terrible, man. And then you try and download Peacock, but you can't get Peacock on a Fire Stick because I don't know, they didn't get a deal with NBC. Like, it's a disaster, y'all. I understand the feel. Those things just drive us crazy. For some of us, maybe something that drives you crazy is like when people are just mean or mean to you when you're trying to be nice to them or kind to them. Maybe for you, the thing that drives you crazy when you text somebody and they just don't respond. Like, but they've read your message, like that just drives you absolutely wild. Maybe something that drives you guys crazy, middle schoolers, is like some of your friends have cell phones and y'all don't have cell phones. Like that gets you upset. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe something that drives y'all crazy is like your family isn't as perfect as everybody else's family. Like your parents are together, but they're not really together, not really happy. They argue, they fight all the time. Maybe it drives you crazy. You don't really get noticed as much as your older brother or your older sister. I don't know, but I feel like we all have something that probably gets under our skin a little bit. It just does. It just happens. We get mad. And if you guys have seen the movie Inside Out, we spoke about it some last week. You run around like that little red guy who's like a weird red Oompa Loompa, but he gets mad and he screams. When he screams, what pops out of his head? Fire. Yeah, it's crazy. It's easy to get mad. And really, when things happen, we get just like this. We call it angry. Like we get real angry. We get very upset. And the scary thing about anger is, sometimes it can take control of us. So the question I have for y'all tonight is, what happens to you when anger takes control? Probably nothing good, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever been in that moment before where you say something, you're like, why did I just say that? What was I even thinking? I wasn't thinking. I was like a bull and I saw red and I just acted out of emotions and I just got upset. Has anybody else done that before? Has anybody done that this week? Has anybody done that today? Yeah, my hand is like kind of raised because as a dad, I'll talk more about Irish and Everly later, but sometimes they just slap each other. I'm like, what is going on right now? Like you just get so upset and frustrated and you're like, all right, I gotta breathe, gotta calm down. But sometimes y'all, anger takes control. And for some of us, I bet when anger takes control of you, you probably feel like my man right here. Probably feel like the Hulk. Like you get so upset, like my man Bruce Banner here, who had his experiment and turned, gamma ray radiation he was exposed to. Bruce Banner becomes a Hulk when he's upset, and he's like, what? Like, you won't like me when I'm angry, right? Like he gets so angry, and he just Hulk what? Smash, and he destroys everything. And sometimes we kind of feel like when anger can take control over some of us, we Hulk smash and we just explode. We say stuff to our parents, we say stuff to our siblings, we say stuff to our friends, we say stuff to our boyfriend or our girlfriend. We say stuff to people we go to school with. We say stuff to our coach. We say stuff to our teacher virtually. I don't really know how y'all do that, but I know you guys are probably at least really saying stuff on those Zoom calls when the screen might not be on you, right? But we say stuff, and the problem is when they hear those things and they feel those things, you can't really get those things back. And you explode and you just went off. And if you handle anger like the Hulk and you're just like, smash everything, right? Then that might kind of be like you. So if that's you, you definitely got to tune in because we're going to be talking a lot about how to help with this explosion that happens with the Hulk. Or maybe you're not like the Hulk. Maybe you're like this guy here. Oh, poor Wreck-It Ralph. And hold on, you might be like, well, Wreck-It Ralph, he wrecks things. He smashes things. He destroys things. True. However, if you remember in the movie, he's a villain in this game known as what? You guys remember what the game was? Fix It. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. You got it. Always, Trenton. Fix It Felix. He's in the game, Fix It Felix. He's the villain. He's not really accepted by everybody else, and it hurts his feelings. He sleeps out on bricks, and he's out there by himself, and he sees Felix and all them celebrate a party for his game, and he's just so upset. He gets so angry, but you know what Ralph does with his anger? He stuffs it down. He stuffs it down. He says, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to deal with it. It's fine. It'll just work itself out. I'll figure this whole thing out. Eventually, I'll be accepted. I'll be loved. Maybe I'll be able to be invited to one of these parties one day. He never really deals with it until finally he does when it's too late and he kind of explodes and he destroys the cake in that scene. It's a crazy, great scene. But y'all, so if you're kind of like Wreck-It Ralph and you don't deal with your anger that much, even though you face it, even though you have it, even though you experience it, but you're like, it's fine. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to leave it. It's just going to go away. I'll go to sleep on it. I won't worry about it. Eventually, it's just going to vanish. Maybe that's you. And if that's the case, then you might be like this. When anger takes control over some of us, we feel sad and we bury it away. So I don't know where you are, either like a Hulk smash or like a Wreck-It Ralph. I'm one of these guys. But I think for a lot of us, y'all, anger can absolutely take control of us. And it is a dangerous thing when anger takes control of us. Because how do we respond? What do we do? What do we do? And if you see here on this thing right here, we actually have something which is really, really nice. We have a delicious Cheerwine. Okay? Yeah, delicious Cheerwine. Actually made in the Carolinas here. Made in the Carolinas. It is alcohol free, okay? It is a soft drink. It's a very delicious beverage. It's a cherry beverage is what they say. But how do you describe Cheerwine to somebody who's never had it before? it's like a glass of heaven, right? And it's just fantastic. It is so delicious. And Bojangles carries it on fountain, which is just absolutely great. So, yeah, y'all, but the reality is, though, for some of us, when we bury our anger, it doesn't go away. It's kind of like taking a 2-liter and just shaking it. And just shaking it. And just shaking it. And you know what? He said that to you. She said that about you. She used to be your best friend. How could she do that? Oh, he's dating her now? Oh, no. Right? How is my best friend gonna date my ex? Right? How is my ex gonna try and date my best friend? This is so messed up. This is so wrong. How did my mom and dad forget about my game? How did they forget about my meet? Why are they only talking about him or her? Right? Why don't I ever get noticed or attention or anything? We just get so mad. I'm not gonna talk about it. If I don't smash anything, I'm kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. I just shake and I just leave it. And we kind of just sit there. And we just assume things are gonna be okay. And we just assume, nothing really, what could really go wrong here if I just leave my anger and frustration and everything right there? Some of us might be like this 2-liter Cheerwine. Just a delicious drink and beverage, but inside you're brewing and you're so hurt and you're so angry, but you're not dealing with your anger. So it's just sitting there, it's just bubbling and just bubbling and just bubbling and just bubbling. And if you don't release it, eventually what's gonna happen? And since y'all were so great earlier, and you guys were all, into worship and sitting so great with your mask and everything, I was thinking of this side over here and just kind of wondering, if we can go ahead and actually just have a little bit of fun with them. But first, let's go to the slide here real quick, because the reality is, if we go to the next one, it actually could be a good thing. Hey, y'all stay with me. It can be a good thing to release our anger. It really, really can. I'm not gonna get y'all a promise. It can be a very good thing to release our anger in a what kind of way though? Controlled way. It can be a good thing to release our anger in what kind of way? Controlled way. One more time. What type of way? Controlled way. Thank you, Trenton. Here we go. So I was thinking about opening this in a bit of a controlled way. This might take a little bit of time. It takes a little time. We gotta go slow here in a controlled way. You ready? Isn't that nice? Y'all are clapping like I did a magic trick. It was a controlled opening of an exploded Cheerwine, and here we go. Since you guys were kind of close, you guys can enjoy this during your group time here if you would like to. Here you go. Thank y'all so much. Y'all enjoy this during group. Cheerwine, absolutely. Now, and here's the deal, okay? Yeah, they're worshiping, they're doing great, okay? And I might have something for you guys. Ned, find me in a minute. Hey, here's the deal, guys. What happens here can be a good thing to release our anger in a slow, controlled, easy fashion like that, not just ripping it off real quick. Because if we just rip it off real quick, what would have happened with that 2-liter? It would have been great. It would have been fun, Grayson, but it would have soaked everybody up here, this whole stage and everything around us. And sometimes in our life, that thing that's getting us so angry, we're not dealing with it, we're stuffing it, and eventually it will just come out at the worst possible time. So tonight, we're gonna talk about how to calm down your cheerleader to wine. All right, whoa, let me fix that, correct that. My Cheerwine 2-liter, I was thinking of a cheer, I don't know why. Whitney, we were watching her cheerleader videos from when she was at Cheer Extreme with Iris the other day. They're trying to get in Cheer Extreme. So I don't know why that happened. Tonight we are going to, let's rewind. Tonight we are going to be talking about how to unwind and slow down, right? When we open up our 2-liters in our life, our Cheerwine in our lives with all that anger, all that frustration, and all of those feelings that we have just stuffed down. And thankfully for all of us, everybody here, everybody watching, you might be like, well, you know what, man? I know we're talking about anger, but I don't really get mad. If that's you, then great. I'm so glad you don't really get mad. But I promise you, just like that Cheerwine, it is coming. There will be something later this week, next month, this year, when you get older, where you will get upset and you need to figure out how to open and control your anger in a very relaxed, controlled way. Now, for those of us out here who's like, well, I don't really know about God. I don't really know about Jesus. I used to be close to him. Now I'm far away. Like, what does this have to do with my walk with him? We're so glad you're here. What we're talking about is still so important for you because I promise, guys, regardless of where you're on your walk with God, you are going to deal with anger probably in 2021. So let's face it, the best way possible. And fortunately for all of us here, right? A guy by the name of James spoke about anger in the New Testament. All right, and James wrote this letter to some of the early churches and the earlier followers of Jesus and some of the Jewish believers at the time. And he's actually talking about how to control your anger. Because back then, they loved Cheerwine. I'm just kidding, they didn't have it, but they would have loved it, right? Because it's a delicious drink. But back then, he talked about how important it was to control our anger and be very, very careful with it. Because if not, it can cause a huge mess, an eruption in our lives right now. And the cool thing about James is actually he was the brother of Jesus. So this wasn't just like some average Joe, some regular person just talking about anger. No, like this was actually Jesus's brother. Like this was Jesus's like younger brother. And he had a lot of experience, obviously. I mean, he was brothers with Jesus in the church, dealing with emotions, dealing with angers. And James actually talks about how important it is if you're a follower of Jesus to try and control your emotions and follow Jesus with your life too, right? Like show it in your faith. Don't just say I follow Jesus, but try and act that way too. James talks about this though. In James chapter 1, verses 19 through 21, you guys can follow along here. This is great. This is what he says. James says this, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get what? Angry. All right. Why? Because human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. In other words, James is saying, hey, look, you got to slow down. All right, yeah, I know you're upset. I know you got things going on, but don't just get angry. Don't just let it just overtake you, just like the Hulk. And also, it's probably my God did just to pack it down like Wreck-It Ralph. You need to slow down when it comes to your anger and try and take it slowly. Does anybody in here have a problem like controlling their temper and like taking anger slowly? I know I do too. I absolutely do too. But what's encouraging for me and should be encouraging for all of y'all as well, all of our middle schoolers, all of our high schoolers, all of us leaders alike, is that you notice James actually didn't say, hey, don't get angry. Hey, you cannot get angry. Hey, how dare you get angry? James actually says, be slow to get angry. So for me, I'm encouraged because he's like, okay, he knows I'm gonna get mad about something. He knows I'm gonna have something that sets me off and gets me a little bit upset. You know why? Because we all do. We all have something that gets us upset. James is talking about anger like it's an emotion. Just like, guess what other emotions are? Being hungry. Everybody in here get hungry? Yeah, the guy's like, yes, please. Thirsty, sleepy, right? Like those are emotions that you can't just avoid. It happens. And being angry is an emotion that we can't really just avoid. It's going to happen. We can figure out ways to respond better to it and try and control it. Right? But James is saying be slow to get angry. Because when you get angry, you don't produce the righteousness that God desires. Righteousness is saying, in other words, like you're not doing the right things. You act crazy, you get upset, you see red, you say things you shouldn't say, you do things you shouldn't do, and you become a different person. He keeps going with another verse. So James says, get rid of all the filth, all the evil in your lives, and humbly accept the word God has planted in your hearts. For it has the power to save your souls. In other words, this is great. Y'all get this. Stay with us here. This is the great part. If we go to the next one here, we sum it up like this. Anger makes it hard to do what's right. Anger makes it really hard to do the right thing. Anger makes it really hard to say the right thing. Anger makes it really hard to treat that person the right way, especially when they say that stuff about you. I don't want to do that. Why do I have to do that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I should say. Yeah, this will be good. This will be good. They want to see this coming. Anger makes it hard to do the right thing for all of us, regardless of how old you are or where you are. And what's funny is we see this, Whitney and I see this almost every day with Iris and Everly. Iris, our oldest at 3.5, Evie, our youngest at 2. Y'all, they get mad. And Iris is like Ralph. She kind of takes it and she stuffs it. But when she gets mad, y'all, she gets mad. Now, Evie, when she gets mad about something, she goes, and I'm just like, well, you better you better calm down, girl. Just breathe down. And she'll take, it's so bad. She gets so bad though. I'll get here. I'm not And this is like her height, okay? So she'll get like this. I'm not coming to short people, my sister's short, okay? But she comes like this, and she will literally, Evie gets so mad, and she'll get Iris, and she'll just take her and just walk her and walk her and walk her and walk her, boom, right into the wall. And we're like, Evie, you cannot just push your problems into the wall. That's not okay. No, Grayson, it's not okay. And the problem is, since we've had COVID, she hasn't been able to go to preschool or anything, so we're so worried that whenever she starts going, they're gonna be like, yeah, Evie pushed another kid through a window today. And we'll be like, oh, please no. We're so worried about sweet Evie Jade, y'all. Please pray for her. But the crazy thing is, Iris is like Wreck-It Ralph. She's like, I got you. All right, you wanna push me against walls? Just wait, I'm gonna stuff it. I'm gonna hide it in here a little bit more, and eventually I got something coming for you. True story. Right around Christmas time, Whit's best friend was in town from Alabama, and they're over there having a play date. She has a daughter that's Iris's age. They got on some Power Wheels. Iris is sitting there driving. Evie's just hanging out, having fun. Remember, Evie snaps, pushed Iris in the wall several times. Iris remembered. And check out this video of how Iris kind of responds here, because this is pretty real. All right, you guys ready to check out? This is my wonderful wife's TikTok. Y'all check this out. Check the screens. I can say that nobody was really hurt in the filming of this video. Except for probably Whitney, who was videotaping it. And I was like, she sent me the video, and I'm like, babe, why did you let this thing go all the way down? And eventually she was like, well, I had to stop. I stopped at the last point. And I'm like, well, yeah, when what, Evie was underneath the car? I was like, oh my goodness. Yo, Iris stuffed that anger in, and poor Evie's just hanging out having fun, and she became a speed bump to a Power Wheel. True story. She did not get hurt by it. I don't know how. Praise the Lord, she did not get hurt. But I do promise you this, Evie got up and was so mad. She cried for about 10 seconds, trying to push Iris into a wall, but they're outside, there were no walls. So it's like, it was terrible, y'all. It was crazy. But what we can take from this, okay, is if we stuff our anger, it's gonna come out, I promise you that, in a bad way. If you respond like the Hulk, somebody's probably come back and get you one day, so don't do that either. But what we can take is this. We need to try and slow down and manage our anger. Y'all, all of us, right? Leaders, 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, all of us college students, we gotta slow down and manage our anger, because if not, I promise you, oh no, it will come out, okay? So how do we do that? How do we slow down? James said to slow down. What does that look like? Y'all, I've got 2 big things for us. I think this is great. First thing, you guys know, like in preschool, elementary school, you guys learn your ABCs, right? You gotta remember your ABCs is the first thing. What are you saying, ABCs? It's not Jackson 5, I'm like, ABC, right? I'm not gonna sing that for you guys, even though Michael Jackson got to start there and he kills that song, right? But I'm actually talking here about avoiding certain things that get you upset, avoiding certain people that will get you upset, avoiding following people on social media that's just gonna set you off and all of a sudden put you in a bad place, avoiding environments where you get upset, avoiding these things called triggers, right? And I'm not talking about chiggers, those little like red bugs that get in your leg and you start scratching under your skin, like, man, that it really hurts. No. Triggers, things that set you off and get you very angry and very upset. We all have those things. We gotta avoid them. And I'm not saying never talk to that person because they're in your class or you see them in Zoom or you see them on your team or whatever it is, but like, don't put yourself in environments where you know you're gonna be upset. Can anybody think of something right now where it's like, whenever I'm around him or her, or whenever I go to that house or I go to that party, high schoolers, right, or college students, I know if I see that, like, I'm gonna be so mad. Avoid it. Don't go. Try and be away from that as much as possible. If you have to go, try not to talk to him or her or be around it, because if not, oh no, it might be a problem, okay? Avoid the triggers. Next thing is, we gotta breathe. Y'all, what breathing does to your body is an incredible thing. It keeps you alive first, okay, come on, right? But also mentally. If you are upset, if you are stressed, if you're worried, if you're angry, one of the best things you can do is just try and take a breath, Try and breathe. Try and slow down and center yourself. If you close your eyes and if you say, all right, I'm gonna take 5 deep breaths. And I probably wouldn't do it in front of everybody. They may think you're kind of crazy, okay? But like take a second and just be like, right? Breathe for a moment. It will completely change your focus and is a beautiful thing that can recenter you and calm you down. And next thing for the last one, C, is count. I'm not talking about the count, okay? I'm talking about counting. Count to 10. Slow down, get away from everybody. When you're taking breaths, like count to 10. Is this worth me getting this angry about? If it is, okay, great. I probably wouldn't handle it the way you want to handle it, but think for a second, count to 10. Is this actually something that I should be this mad about? If I go to sleep on this and I think about it tomorrow, am I gonna be this mad? A week from now, will this stuff really matter? A month from now, will this matter? It could, but count and slow down. Thomas Jefferson. Anybody know what bill he's on, by the way? Money, currency? $2 bill. $2 bill. But he was a president, right? You guys know that, yes. Woo, okay, fantastic. Thomas Jefferson, right? He actually said this is a great quote. Thomas Jefferson says, if you're angry, count to 10 before you speak. If you're really angry, count to 100 before you speak. Yeah, listen, if you count to 100, you can be like, I'm not even that mad. I don't even know what I was mad about anymore. Slow down, avoid the person, breathe, count. I'm telling you all, this helps me. Like this helps all of us. It's something that's great. And besides just remembering our ABCs, you can take a picture of that if you want actually, because that is so helpful. I promise next time you get upset, this will help all of us. Avoiding triggers, breathing, counting. And the other thing we can do, number 2 for us, is also remember your outs, all right? Remember, we got 3 outs. In baseball, how many outs you got? 3. Yeah, in kickball, in wiffle ball, in softball, I don't know, what other games? Dodgeball, well, no, dodgeball, you don't really have 3 outs. You get hit, you're out. See you. You got 3 outs, that's it. And here are my 3 outs that I want you guys to do. If you're in that moment, if you're angry, if you've already said, I avoided it, I couldn't get rid of it. All right, I breathed, it didn't work. I'm still alive though, at least, so it's working in that sense. And then you also say and I counted to 10, I counted to 100, I counted in Spanish to 20. Like, that's fantastic. Hope y'all can count more than just 20, okay? Come on, middle schoolers or high schoolers. However, all right, if you said I did all that, doesn't work, then you need to remember you have 3 outs. 3 outs, 3 things you gotta hold on to. And these are things you should do in that moment when you're about to run over somebody in a power wheel, okay? These things right here, all right? Tell me, you gotta talk it out, you gotta write it out, and you gotta pray it out. Again, you've gotta talk it out, you gotta write it out, and you have got to pray it out. What does talk it out mean? It means talk to somebody. Be like, bro, I'm about to lose my mind. I need some help. I'm so angry, I'm about to punch a wall. Don't punch a wall. The wall will win. It is undefeated, okay? I promise. It has never, ever lost. You don't believe me? Ask people who have tried. You never see a wall walking away crying. It doesn't happen, okay? Trust me, talk to somebody. Girls, when you're that angry and you're about to say something or post something or do something or just stuff it down even more and say, I'm not gonna deal with this, I promise y'all, it's not worth stuffing. It's not worth not dealing with. You have to talk to somebody about it. And y'all all have small group leaders here who love you, who are for you, who wanna talk to you about those things that make you angry because they wanna help you with that. If you're watching right now on our YouTube channel and you're like, I need a small group, I need to get connected with a group, please send us a message, let us know, because we'd love to help you get connected with the group so you can talk to people and talk to people in the group with you. You gotta do it. Leaders, we gotta do it too. We gotta talk to each other because we get mad too, we really do. What was the other thing? Write it out. Some of you guys might be like, well, I'm not gonna talk. I don't really wanna talk to anybody. I would rather just internally deal with this right now instead of just stuffing it. And don't stuff it then, write it. And some of y'all might be like, hold on, write it. Like, yeah, get a pen, write it out. Or get your phone, if you wanna get your phone, and kind of put it in a note. But you need to get those feelings out there. And honestly, a great thing is you can look back on it when you deal with this anger in the future, or you deal with how you felt in the future, and you're like, man, I remember that time I was so upset with something, and I wrote it out, and looking back at it now, I can't believe I was that mad. Man, God carried me through it. It worked out. It was good. Or you can think and say, man, last time I dealt with that breakup, I was so hurt, I was so sad, I was so destroyed. But you know what? I remember I wrote down my feelings. I'm gonna go back and read it and see what it looks like. Because the coolest thing is, God is faithful in that brokenness, which is the best part about it. God is faithful in our anger, in our frustrations. And the coolest part about it is, y'all, when we're really upset, when we're really sad, when we're really mad, when we're really angry, when we try and stuff it and we don't know what to do, y'all, God is like, hey, come talk to me. If anything else, just talk to me. And that's why our last one there, being prayed out, is probably the best thing you can do when you are angry. Pray right then and there. God, I'm about to punch my little brother right in his throat. God's gonna say, don't do that, first of all. It's not good, okay? I'm about to punch the wall. The wall is undefeated. I promise you, don't do that. God, I'm so upset. I'm so sad. Like, I don't know what to do anymore because this COVID thing has gotten so real, and I'm so scared and I'm so angry because it's taking people in my family, and I'm just so mad. You know what God wants you to do? He wants you to tell him exactly how you feel. You know, sometimes we think we can't like tell God anything unless it's like how great he is. You know what God wants from you? He wants you to be real. He wants you to share your heart. He wants you to share your anger, and he wants you to pray to him and talk to him about it. You know, the Psalms, one of the biggest books in the Bible, so many of the Psalms were when David and all these great people from the Old Testament and kings and leaders, they were writing to God, and the Psalms, a lot of them, they're actually shouting at God. God, why did you do this? I'm so mad at you. I can't handle this anymore. This doesn't make sense. And God's like, I know, I'm so sorry. I love you so much, and I'm sorry you're feeling this way, and I'm sorry you're dealing with this anger, and I'm sorry that you're struggling right now, but I want you to know I'm still here, I'm still for you, and I still love you. Y'all, God wants our anger. He wants our frustrations. He wants us to come exactly, directly, right to him with them. Because, you know, our God's a big God, and he is the one person, the one being, the one God who can handle it and say, hey, I got you. I want to help you with it. So, y'all, right now, as we think about whatever's getting us so angry right now, or when we leave here and we get in the car and we got to go back to home and deal with that situation, or we got to deal with that relationship thing tomorrow, that school thing tomorrow, or the family health situation that, you know, that person's no longer here and COVID struck again. Like it's so hard. There's so many things right now that are so sad, and for a lot of us, it's just anger. I want to challenge y'all. Please talk about it. Please write about it. And more than anything else, pray about it. Shout at God. He can take it. That's what he wants. And let's pray right now to him together about that. Let's bow our heads. Father, thank you so much for this incredible room of middle schoolers. God, thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in right now with us on our YouTube channel. God, all of us, we all have some anger in our hearts right now, in our life right now. Help us not to feel shame about it. Help us not to feel wrong about it. Help us not to feel like there's something not right with us because we're angry about something. But God, I pray that we don't stuff our anger. I pray that we also don't run over our little sisters in Power Wheels, because that's not good. I pray what we really do, Father, is we learn how to avoid those situations, Father. I pray that you help us learn how to be better in those situations, God, and to try and control ourselves a little bit better, and try and manage our attitudes a little bit better, and try and talk to you about it, and try and talk to others about it, and just try and be real and open and honest. God, because that's what you want for us. That's why you gave us Jesus. It's so great that Jesus understands our anger. He was angry too. God, I just pray that we can be bold this year in 2021 as we deal with our anger together. And we don't let anger control us, God, because we know that you have things that are so much greater than whatever our anger might be blinding us from right now. Father, please help us to come together and overcome whatever we're angry about together this year. We love you so much, and we love Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
If y'all would stand with us, we're going to sing a new song tonight. I count on one thing, the same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy in all my days. Oh yes, I will. gonna sing one more song, so sing this with us. Speak to me when the silence steals my voice. You understand me. You understand me. Come to me in the valley of unknowns. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me, God. You understand me. So I throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you would. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop
Y'all, I know we all have anger. We all have things. If you guys want to sit down, y'all can. Absolutely. Y'all sit and just chill for a minute. I know I mentioned this last time we sang this song, but I just love that part there at the chorus where it talks about, I will rest in the Father's hands. I think when we're resting in the Father's hands, when we're resting with our God, right, wherever you are in your walk with Jesus, when you rest with God, when you say, hey, God, I want you to be the Lord of my life, I want to try and follow you, what he wants you to do is rest in his arms. Like, you know what that means? Just rest, just breathe, exhale, yeah. And especially when we deal with our anger and our frustrations and those things that get you mad, and you know what, they have every right in the world to get you that upset, yes. But what would happen if next time, instead of you just trying to fix it your way by smashing something or hitting a wall or running over your sister, right? If we said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try and rest in God's hands. I'm gonna try and exhale. I'm gonna try and count. I'm gonna try and trust that God is so much bigger than what I'm dealing right now. And y'all, we talked about those things that hopefully will help you. They help us. Talking about your anger and your emotions, the things that get you so mad, writing about it, yeah, praying, shouting, yelling at God about it. He can take it. That's what he wants. And y'all, we hope that you guys go to groups right now and you guys will talk more about those things. This year, we want you guys to be intentional in your small groups and try and be open, try and be real about the things you're struggling with. Because I promise, it's not just you that's struggling with in that group. It's not just you with that anger issue or that thing that gets you so mad. I bet it's somebody else in that group too. And I bet, if I could say one thing, I could almost guarantee that your leader, one of your leaders has probably dealt with that exact thing or something very, very, very similar to it. Or we have somebody here who has as well. So if you're struggling with something, you're so mad and you don't really know what to do and you want to talk more about it, please talk to your leader. If you want to talk to us, you can come up as well and talk to us because we'd love to help you with it because we do not want any of y'all to be alone here in 2021. That's why we're here. And if you're watching right now on YouTube channel or you're watching this weekend or next week, whenever it is, please send us a message. Let us know on our Instagram so we can reach out with you and get you connected as well. Middle school, we love y'all. You guys have been fantastic tonight. We will not see y'all again for 2 weeks. So we will see you back again on January the 27th as we wrap up this series. If it's your first time here, so glad y'all came. Please be sure to come up front and we'll get you all set with a group. Everybody else, we love y'all so much. Please keep wearing your mask. Please keep washing your hands and being safe out there, y'all, because COVID is very real. We're praying for y'all. If we can help y'all or your family with anything, please let us know. But we love y'all. Hope y'all have a wonderful night and great time with your small groups. Peace.